Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vassell and Sam Healy.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. How you doing?
Sam Healy. What's up, folks? Welcome back.
All right, today we're taking a look at Micropolis.
Micropolis.
Micropoli.
Ooh.
That's very
That's classy.
French.
That's classy.
This is an ant game. I know
play
that.
with parents, also siblings.
Yeah, that's true.
That was
No.
a Sam Healy joke. Come on now. that was a Sam Healy
good.
joke.
That
Yeah.
was good. I was thinking of it.
I say
was thinking
aunt,
it.
but
yes.
you know, an ant game. Yes, it is an ant game.
Z is very excited about this one because it's a Bruno Catala game.
Co-designed Bruno Catala, who is my favorite designer, and I like tile laying games anyway.
Cool.
Yeah, and we actually had a chance to see this a long time ago. I saw it way back before it is very beautiful productions. Matago, typical. So Matago
Right.
Press Catala seems like a slam dunk, but does not need to necessarily mean it is. I know you think it is. Might not be though. Teach us how to play, Z.
Here we go. Each player starts with one of these foundations and 5 soldiers sitting on that foundation, and then we're going to shuffle up and lay out 7 of these tiles with the stack placed over here onto one end of the line. And then you are ready to begin. Someone is going to have the start player token, and on your turn, you are going to be acquiring one of these tiles in order to start building or continue building later on your anthill. And so let's say I'm the first player here. I've got the token. On my turn, I would begin from the beginning, from the start of the line here, farthest from the stack of tiles. And I could take this opening tile here freely. So I could take that tile, I could add it onto my anthill, and then I would do any action that that tile requires. However, if I don't want that tile, I could leave a soldier on that tile and take the next one. If I also don't want this one, well, I could leave another soldier on that one and take the following one, and so on. So let's say I want that second tile. I would leave a soldier there, I'd take this one here. There is no immediate effect that happens with this tile, so I am done, and that is the next player's turn. That next player could, again, skip the first tile by leaving a soldier on it and taking the next one, or they could simply take the first tile, and by doing so, they would acquire this soldier that has been left behind on that tile. They'll go ahead and do that. So they get that soldier there, and they will incorporate this tile. Now, this tile has a special ability listed here at the very top of the tile, as well as shown on the artwork itself. And so what that one means is that we are going to, that player is going to get 3 new soldiers, 3 new babies that grow up to be soldiers. They place them on their board like so, and they are done with their turn, and it is the next player's turn, who is going to have a selection from these. They are going to acquire the first tile here freely, because it's the first one. They'll add it onto their anthill, and that one also comes with a special power. In this case, they get one of these architect tokens. They'll keep that token, and later on, they can spend that token to acquire any tile on the line freely without giving up soldiers. Once this is done, and each player has acquired 1 tile, if the line has dropped to below the number of players, we'll replenish up to 7. We don't need to do that now. And we will see if a new player has the start player marker here. That is, whoever has the most soldiers on their foundation. It's that player there now. So they are the start player, and they will pick from these. They will go ahead and leave a soldier of their own on that first tile and acquire the second one in line. Now, once you've acquired at least 1 tile, your following tiles have to go adjacent to something you've already built. And so they may put that tile there, or they can put it on the other side here. And so they'll go ahead and do that. That one also is a tile that gives them new soldiers, in this case 2 new soldiers, as per the artwork. And so they will take 2 new soldiers. If they could not hold as many new soldiers as they are given, because that foundation does have a hard limit, they would get rid of any extras that they would get. And so they are done. Next player is going to go ahead and take this tile, the first tile in line. They get the soldier sitting on it, and the power on this tile has a sword at the top there, means you are going to take a soldier away from the start player for the round. And so one of these is stolen and given to, well, that player there. And now it comes back to me over here. I think I would like to, ideally, I would like to skip this one and take this one because it has barracks there at the top, right here. And it says it needs 4 soldiers sitting on it, and it will score me 10 victory points. However, I no longer have 4 soldiers, as I just gave one up in order to skip that tile. I might have an opportunity to fill that later, but ideally I want to fill it right now. So I'll still go ahead and take it, and I'm just not going to fill it. It has to be either completely empty or completely filled. I cannot partly fill it up. That's done. This tile is going to move to the front of the line. We reassign this if need be, however that player still has the most soldiers, and we refill the line with new tiles from the stack of tiles in order to start the next round. This is all going to continue until every player has completely filled up their anthill, and it will be a circular shape, and that'll be the end of the game, at which point we score the entire thing. So let's jump ahead. I'm going to build a full anthill and show you how scoring works. So this is what my anthill might look like at the very end of the game, and we'll go ahead and proceed to scoring. So the first category here is every ant on the board that is printed on the board is going to give you 1 victory point. Not the ones sitting on my foundation, not the ants sitting in the barracks, the plastic ants. And so I would just count them up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I think I did that right. And so everything counts for that, including the queens, including the architects, soldiers, anything else that, again, is printed on the board. Next up, we check the biggest gallery, that is the biggest path, contiguous paths on the board, and we are going to see who has the most ants in their biggest grouping. And that player is going to get 5 victory points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for me. Let's say another player had 12 in their biggest, they get a bonus 5 points. Then I'm going to score up my different fruits and the gifts and so on. And you check per gallery. So a single gallery over here has 1 single piece of fruit. That is just 2 points. But this one over here has 1, has 2 in that one. And so therefore I get 5 victory points. If I'm able to get 3, and they do have to be different to score, 3 different ones together, I would get 10, 4, 15, and so on. After that, we check our queens. If you have a queen who is the only queen in a completed gallery, you are going to get a victory point per tile that makes up that gallery. And so I have a queen right here. She's the only queen in that entire section, and therefore that gallery there is going to score me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 victory points. After that, we check who has the start player token. Again, the player who has the most soldiers just sitting on their foundation. They would get a bonus 5 victory points. I only have 2, so it's likely someone else has more than me. They would get 5 victory points. And then finally, we check the barracks. If they are filled, they'll give you as many victory points as are listed below those barracks. And I was able to fill this one, which is 2 victory points, and this one, which is 10 victory points. Now, originally when I placed this tile, it was empty, but this power here would have allowed me to move ants in and out of barracks from my foundation. So I went ahead and did that a little later on in the game, filling up those barracks. And then we sum up our score, and whoever has the highest score is the winner of the game.
All right, so from a production standpoint, I think it's pretty, it's Manago. This stuff always looks good. Mm-hmm. You get little plastic ants. I thought the iconography was not that difficult, except the ants, they have pictures of soldier ants in the rooms themselves, and I thought that could throw you off sometimes, because it has nothing to do with being a soldier. True. I would almost not have put them in there at all.
Well, they have powers that tie to what they do, and so they illustrate the ants on the board to match that thing. Like the one that gives you more babies, then she's holding babies, and you know.
I know, but there are soldier ant pictures.
Yeah, they
that
have
are
a
just
power. They have a power that's sort of militaristic. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
other than that, I think the whole thing looks really good. Mm-hmm. It's nice. It's actually a smaller game than that box would have you believe, I think.
You think so? I don't know. Maybe.
I guess it almost feels like a card game. Right, you take everything out, it feels like a fairly small game. It could have been a card game, you know, where you draw cards and we bid on them, some cards and chips.
I did hear
I'm
some
not saying I
complaints.
want it to be that.
I did hear some complaints when I played with a few folks that they did not like the look of it, actually. Some folks did not enjoy the that much brown, I guess, is what I heard. But I was like, well, it looks good to me. You know, I had no problem with it. I also had one person who had a problem where the first round or two, they thought they were looking at the groupings between the paths. So like large areas of brown. And we're like, no, those are dig outs, not walls. They were seeing them reversed.
Oh, I see.
I could see how you could see that.
So just, again, if you're grabbing the game and teaching someone, make that abundantly clear.
Yeah, it's the paths that are important.
Right, they're
not
like deeper than
brown
the
things.
earth, not the other way
Yeah,
around.
exactly.
I have not played this game with the upper echelon 6 or the lower echelon 2. I think I played 5, 4, and 3.
I have played 6.
Do you like it with 6? It
Yeah, it's
seems like it,
fine.
but there's no control. You might as well just like not even look at the board when it's your turn until it's your turn to take a tile.
It's definitely a little tougher to see something out there and go, oh, I'm going to get that one, you know. But one thing that is interesting in a 6-player game that you don't find as is necessarily a clever choice in a smaller group is if there's a tie for who gets a star player marker, who you give it to actually does matter a lot more in a 6-player game. You might want to go way later. You know, so if I give it, you know, it's always like if in a 3-player game, you want to be as close to front as possible. You want a choice earlier. In a 6-player game, I might want one of the last 2 tiles. I want to go later.
Oh, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, but you're hoping someone else doesn't spend ants and take them, though.
Yeah, but they're paying if they want to do that.
That seems almost like a perfect storm type situation
Yeah.
where, you know, the one you want is at the end. I think other than that, you always pretty much want to go first or as near to the front as possible.
Unless, again, you want something sort of in the second half.
Yeah.
But definitely, I prefer it with fewer than 6. I would not say it scales badly. I think it scales well.
Okay.
What about at 2? Have you played 2 yet?
No, I did not play 2.
All right, we played 3. I know we did that. No, I like the idea that with 2 or 3 you can play with 2 anthills.
Right. You have the variant with the 2 anthills, yeah, and you can, much like King Domino, and we talked about this, where you could play that game on a bigger grid. Now you play basically 2 players, but you control both, and it offers you some neat new concepts to
is
manage that.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I like this game. I think it's fun. I don't think it offers anything new. I don't think there's anything in this game that felt different than I haven't seen that before.
Right. I mean, the only gimmick here that you could say, oh, that's neat and different, is the idea that the tiles wrap around. And really, if you take that shape and you even it out again, they're just rectangular tiles, really.
Yeah.
But they gave them that slight angle, and so they'll eventually touch again, right? That's a minor thing. It's cute. It has nice visual appeal.
Yeah.
But as far as originality out of the box, you're right. There's not a lot of original content here. That feels
That
different.
doesn't always have to be original
Oh,
content.
no.
to be true.
I'm not arguing
So-
that. I'm saying that I don't think there has to be. I'm just saying
Right.
there isn't any. So I like the game.
People will be able to pick it up a lot faster.
I have to think, why do I like the game? First of all, that's mechanism of taking a tile or putting ants on it is one of my favorites, period, in a
Absolutely.
game.
Yes.
And I
Small
like
World.
the ant theme. So those are the 2
Yes.
things that attract me to it.
Yeah.
I like the I like that it's a simple tile laying game with fairly simple scoring, but there are a few things you can go for, and there are the powers in the game are neat. I like them all. They're all kind of cool. You know, I like the idea of seeing an architect come up, and even though I might not necessarily want that tile, I'm going to grab that architect because later on I can cash in that chip and take anything I want.
yeah.
Or you can go heavy with the barracks scoring at the sake of like leaving a bunch of fruit tiles out there, maybe. It's the different little avenues. Again, nothing mind-blowing from a tactical or even strategic point of view, but neat choices. It feels a little bit like King Domino Plus, and I'm sorry to keep bringing that up, but it's from the same designer and a very popular, well-known game.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, what I really like about it, that it's a tile laying game with a tiny twist, not much of a twist, but fun ways to score and grab tiles and build up your anthill.
You know, along what you were saying as far as you know, the different avenues to scoring, the one thing that I like about it is that you don't necessarily have to do everything. Usually, you know, there's been games in the past where, maybe not even usually, but there have been games in the past where there are multiple ways to victory, but you have to do a little bit of everything to have a chance.
Sure.
Here's not really that. This is not the case.
No, I don't
for
think so,
Micropolis. You can focus in on one thing, and by default, you're going to dabble in those other things because of those different tiles that you're going to grab that will give you points. But you can focus on one thing and have a good chance at winning.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I like about that. It's not a game that makes you do everything. You can focus on one thing and feel like you've got a good chance.
And you don't necessarily end up doing everything. Like, I've seen plenty of games where no one gets a queen.
Yeah.
And a game in which a person gets 2 queens, and because of the way the paths are laid out, they in fact overlap queen scoring, whereas like 1 or 2 tiles even score
Right.
for both queens.
Right.
Are you bragging here? I feel like that was a
No,
little bit-
I don't
No,
think I've
he
done
brought
that.
it up, not
I don't
me.
think I've done that. I'm just
Oh, you
saying.
did it.
No, I didn't. I did it.
So
yeah.
you've got that, and then you've got people that absolutely don't get one, but they destroy it with the fruit scoring, you know?
Right.
So I like that, like you said, and those scores are, you know, it's well balanced. It feels balanced.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I agree.
All right, well, I'm going to give this 1 1/4 ant mandibles up. I like it. It's fun.
Doing quarter
1
thumbs now?
1/4 ant.
I don't even
So we
know
took
now.
one of those mandibles and we were like,
Here's the thing. I think this game is the very epitome of what could be a Spiel des Jahres nominee.
Sure.
It really is. It's in that category. I'm not claiming it will be. I think it's too late anyway for it to have come out. But this is the kind of game that you could teach to almost anybody. Really. You can play it. They'll be like, oh, that's really easy. All you have to do is do this, this, this. There might be a few minor rules that you have to understand, but it's not that complex. Maybe, I didn't see, was there any reference cards?
No.
A reference card might have been nice for scoring for each player. But other than that, this is the kind of game I would consider to be a quote-unquote gateway game.
Absolutely,
Hey, you're
yeah.
new to the hobby? Try this out. It's about ants. Fun about ants, though. You know,
Yeah.
type thing. That's what I would do. So that's my rating.
that's cool. I'm going to give it probably a little bit more than that. I do like the simplistic nature of it, in that I like the tile laying. I really like the components of the game. I think the tiles, the pie pieces, whatever you want to call them, they look really good as well. The artwork is great. So there's just a lot of really good things about the game that hit well on it. I'm going to give it 1.5 ant hills up.
Oh, that makes more
We
sense.
didn't destroy the half. It just isn't completely built yet.
So eventually it'll be 2 anthills.
I kick ant hills. Is
I
that
would.
bad?
I wouldn't say
That is
that.
bad, yes. I'm going to give you 2 sun rays through a looking glass, magnifying glass.
Oh my goodness!
Just you, specifically you, but also the game, but without the sun. I just want to admire the ants, not destroy them from the sky.
My
Well, that I haven't done since I've been a little kid.
There you go. No, I'll give it 2 soldier ants up. It is simple, it is straightforward, but I like that. I like
Yeah.
that it is easy to teach. It's attractive, I think. Mechanisms make sense. Looks cool on the table when you see someone about, halfway through or a little bit more past. People walking by will go, oh, cool. You're
Yeah.
building like a little circle thing. What's going on over there? That just looks neat,
All right.
Yeah, it's a minor twist, but it's a cute one, So yeah, this is one I enjoy. I'm going to be playing this, like you said, with non-gamers or new gamers, and I feel like they're going to get into it and enjoy it. I dig it.
Well, that's Micropolis. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Thank you.
Sam Healy. See you on the flip side, folks.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.